Alright, so I've got my helmet here, a Windrose Fiore. Like it, just got it, haven't had a chance to clean it. I guess I've had it for a couple of months now. So here we will see, first thing I'm going to do, just as a sample video, you may never even see this. I'm just going to show you, the viewer at home, what kind of rust I got in there. You can see that, a fair amount of rust in there. Maybe I can rig up. You can see here, there's a little bit of rust in there. It's not too bad, but I'd feel better if it was gone. So I don't want to put any chemicals in there that might affect my truck bed coating. So I'm going to take a Scotch-Brite pad. Didn't have a regular Scotch-Brite pad, but I had a whole bunch of sponges for some reason. So I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to just scrape at it real easy. Not that big a deal. I'm not even using a lot of muscle power. And that's just all it's going to take to get that little bit of rust off of there. And I am also leaving a little bit, some very small scratches, which is actually probably better because it'll make the paint stick a little more effectively. That's worth it almost for itself. Now, I'm doing this part first, just to try and make sure that it is somewhat clean. My next actual action is going to be to drill the holes for the straps. So this might be a little preliminary, but we will see. I ordered this helmet a long time ago. It took quite a bit to get. I think they finished it. And then they were missing a piece. I think it was the joint piece over here. So they took a long time to get that last piece in there. So I have a sneaking suspicion that this might have hung out in a corner of a shop somewhere and maybe collected just a teensy bit of rust while it was there. And you can see that's mostly getting it. A little bit more here. Really shows. I don't know how well you can see there. You can see it's starting to come away a little bit. It's probably not going to be perfect, but I want to try and at least do my best due diligence. I feel very bad if my expensive helmet had any major issues with it that I could have prevented, because that's kind of lame. So once I finish this, my next stage is going to be to drill out the holes for the chin strap, which has caused me no shortage of grief. I've talked to, I think, 4 different owners of the same helmet, gotten 4 slightly different answers as to where I should put them. Because the kit comes with instructions and rivets. It's all good. I've not done a whole lot of research into it. Haven't really figured out what exactly I'm going to do with it. Mostly just trying to figure out where I should put the holes. So the first thing I got to do is drill a couple holes in this guy. With my enormous head, I might have a unique problem, but I figured I'd ask around and figure out where other people have screwed up. General conclusion I heard, or at least the consensus, I suppose, was that you got to be careful to make sure it doesn't pinch your ears or drive into your temples when you get hit, or when it shifts. So I'm not quite sure what that'll do. One guy said to make sure it sits behind the ear, in this area here, and that kind of makes sense to me because it seems like a spot where it'd be easier to deal with than, say, temple, which would hurt a bunch, and ear, which would hurt a bunch. And I mean, I'm wearing a helmet, so if it just transfers force directly into my head, that's sort of counterproductive. There we go. Polish here. Trying to use the sponge to clean out some of the dust, but there's enough sharp edges in there where it's just kind of shredding the sponge. Might take some compressed air to it or something later. So there. You can see in there or not, but that's looking a little nicer. You can see in there a little bit less rust on that side. This side, not so much. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that seam, but we'll figure it out. And I'll waste your time watching it. Or at least probably a sped up version. What a strange video to put on YouTube. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that if you're struggling with it and you don't know what the hell to do, there's probably somebody else who's struggling with it and doesn't know what the hell else to do. So at least you can watch me screw up and say, not doing what that jackass did. Probably should decide if I want to say ass. I think we're going to have to say ass on here. That's just going to be life. We're cutting things, wrecking stuff. PG-13 is probably the best we're going to get. Probably should take it a before picture, huh? Oops. One upside to having a gigantic head is that there's plenty of room to reach in here and not get stuck on anything, because between bottom opening and side opening, and front opening, got loads of room in here. Okay, well, we're rapidly approaching the end of what I can manage without sophisticated tools. So next I'll just take a rag to it. I'm always tempted to do a wet rag because then I can get all the little bits, but then I'm introducing a nice layer of water, and that's probably the opposite of what I want if I want to keep the rust to a minimum. Although where we are, it's very dry, so that's probably not a huge critical problem. There we go. Now you can see that the rust problem is mostly gone. There's a little bit in there, but we'll fill that up with paint, call it good. Maybe a little bit more on the top there. It has surprised me every time I pick this thing up how many sharp, jagged corners on the inside. And it's not a diss on the armorer, it's just amusing to me how many jagged points you have on a thing you jam on your head for safety before you put all the safety gear in. I'm also going to sand this off, or scrub this off a little bit, just because that has a little bit of surface rust. I don't know if I'm going to put any of the truck bed liner on that, but I'm definitely going to scrape a layer of rust off and maybe put some oil. I don't know if that's a good idea because I'll be breathing it in, but a little bit of oil on it probably won't hurt my face. It'll probably protect it pretty well. I'm probably better off a little bit of oil. Maybe I'll go after it with some steel wool or something later. Maybe I shouldn't do this. This might be a bad idea. Well, too late. Already committed. When you do something, you gotta see it through to the end. I don't want to half-ass, otherwise I'll end up with all the problems of having the rust on it and all the problems of having scratches on it. So. Well, this may be a little more than I want to get into today. This is just meant to be a short little intro video. Not something too terribly in-depth. But certainly layer that stuff up. Although I suppose on this one I can use some kind of chemical solvent because I do plan on not immediately painting it. So maybe I'll get some gun cleaner or something on there. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. Alright. So, Get my paper towel. I'm prone to liking these little fabricy ones. They seem to hold up a little nicer, especially if there's any jagged corners. And that looks better. Although I suppose I'll still have to clean it up a little bit to before I put the paint on it and after I drill the hole. But that'll probably be another day. See you later now.